Women have always had this pleasure of controlling men in different ways, whether it's through their charm, their physical appearance, or even through manipulation. These subtle tactics are often used to get what they want, and many men fall for them without even realizing it. But when it comes to Sigma males, the usual moves don't always work. Although they are quiet and seem like they don't know much, there's a lot going on beneath the surface. And that's exactly why some women may try some sneaky tactics to control them. If you're a Sigma, pay attention to these 5 subtle ways, as they are often used to control you without your knowledge. Number 1. Backhanded compliments. Have you ever gotten a compliment that didn't really feel like one? Like when someone says, "You're smart for someone who doesn't talk much." It's a bit of a mind game. This sneaky tactic is called a backhanded compliment, and some women use it to chip away at your confidence without being overtly mean. It's like sliding an insult inside a compliment, leaving you confused and second-guessing yourself, which is exactly what they want. Why does this work so well? Well, it plays with your emotions. You might think, did she just compliment or insult me? It messes with your head, making you focus on what was said and why. You might spend unnecessary time trying to decode the remark instead of just brushing it off. And there's a reason behind it all. It's to gain control. Many believe that by shaking up your confidence just a little, they can make you more agreeable, easier to influence, or more likely to seek validation. Take, for example, when she says, "You're so lucky you don't care what people think about your style." On the surface, it seems like a compliment, but underneath, it's a subtle dig at your appearance, suggesting you don't care enough about yourself. It plants just enough doubt to make you question how you present yourself. The brilliance of this tactic is how it creates a small crack in your confidence. Once that doubt creeps in, you might start seeking her approval, becoming more agreeable or willing to change. It's all about subtle control, using polite words to nudge you in a direction without you even realizing it. Number 2. Emotional outbursts. It's like everything is going great, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, she's yelling or crying over something that seemed small a second ago. It's shocking and leaves you scrambling to figure out what went wrong. These outbursts can be about anything. Maybe you forgot to call her back, or maybe you said something she didn't like. The point isn't really the reason, it's the reaction. When she has these outbursts, it's almost like a reset button. Your brain quickly shifts gears from whatever you were doing to focus solely on her emotions. You start thinking, what happened? How can I fix this? And the focus is immediately on calming her down. It's a powerful way to divert your attention and priorities. What's crafty here is how unpredictable it is. You can never really tell what's going to set her off, and that keeps you in a constant state of alertness. It's like walking on eggshells, which eventually makes you more cautious. You start curbing your own behavior and going out of your way to avoid triggering another meltdown. It's exhausting, and that's exactly the point. These emotional fireworks also have a way of shifting blame. Even if the issue started out as something small, or maybe even your fault, the sheer force of the emotional outburst makes you want to make things right, even if you were never really wrong in the first place. The scale of her reaction can make you doubt yourself, thinking, maybe I did really mess up. And let's not overlook the sympathy angle. After an emotional explosion, there's often a period where you're so relieved that things have calmed down, you're more willing to be extra nice or accommodating just to keep the peace. This post-outburst calm can be misleading, making you think, okay, crisis averted, while subtly reinforcing her control. These outbursts can sneak in so subtly that you don't even realize how much they're affecting you and your decisions. Over time, her emotional volatility becomes a powerful tool for steering your actions and keeping you in check without you even realizing it. Number 3. Withholding affection. Think about this. One day, you're getting all the hugs, kisses, and sweet words, and the next day, it feels like she's put up an emotional wall. This sudden change can leave you feeling confused and unsure about what went wrong. It's not always easy to spot because it's usually done in subtle ways. Maybe she stops texting as much, or she doesn't seem as excited to see you. It's like she's holding back the usual warmth and love. Now, why do they do this? It's all about creating a sense of uncertainty. When someone you care about pulls back their affection, it can make you start questioning yourself. Did I do something wrong? Does she not care anymore? This emotional roller coaster can mess with your head, making you more eager to win back her approval and affection. And that's exactly what some women aim for. They want you to feel a bit off balance, so you're more likely to conform to their wishes. Affection is a powerful tool because everyone craves love and touch. When it's suddenly taken away, it can feel like something major is missing. This tactic preys on that longing. If she drops the sweet words and gestures, it might push you to try harder to please her, even changing your behavior to get that affection back. It's a way of silently saying, "You need to do better if you want my love." But there's more to it. Sometimes it's also about control through scarcity. When affection is given out sparingly, it becomes more valuable. Each hug or kind word turns into a prize you feel you have to earn. This scarcity can amplify your efforts to gain her favor, subtly nudging you to bend to her will without even realizing it. This trick can be especially effective on Sigma males because they tend to analyze situations deeply. The sudden drop in affection triggers a deep dive into their actions and words, searching for a reason. This intense self-scrutiny can leave you feeling vulnerable and more willing to change just to get things back to the way they were, especially if you don't know what you did wrong. It's a subtle and quiet battle for control, fought with the invisible currency of love and attention. Number 4. Playing the victim. This trick is really sneaky because at first, it seems like they're the ones who need help. They might tell you about how everyone else is treating them badly, or how nothing ever goes right for them. Soon enough, you're pulled into this web of sympathy, wanting to be their hero, to save them from whatever's bothering them. What's really happening here is a subtle shift of power, because when you're always trying to fix things for them, you start to put their needs first. And gradually, your needs and feelings take a back seat. You might not even realize it, but you're now dancing to their tune, trying to make everything perfect for them. It sounds harmless, but let's really think about it. When someone always acts like they're in trouble, it makes you feel responsible for their happiness. You start doing more and more for them, hoping things will get better. But what if things never get better? Because that means they lose their grip on you. It's a clever way to keep you busy and distracted, always focusing on their problems instead of noticing how you're being manipulated. And here's the kicker. When you finally notice this pattern and try to step back, they'll ramp up the victim act even more. Suddenly, they're hurt because they feel you don't care anymore, and now you're back in their control, trying to make amends. It's a cycle that's tough to break. The whole victim game gets tricky because it feeds on your natural caring instincts. Anyone with a decent heart would want to help someone who's down. But over time, it becomes clear that no matter how much you help, the story doesn't change, because the real goal isn't solving a problem, it's keeping you tethered and accountable to them. Number 5. Creating dependency. This is a subtle yet crafty way some women use to control their partners. She might start by doing all sorts of things for you, like cooking your favorite meals, taking care of your errands, or always being there to solve your problems. It feels great at first, like she's this amazing person you can always rely on. But there's a hidden trick here. When you start depending on her for these things, it gives her a certain kind of power. If you rely on her to make your day-to-day life easier, she knows you'll want to keep her around at all costs. Then, out of nowhere, she might withdraw that help. Suddenly, the meals stop coming, or she's too busy to run those errands. You're left scrambling, trying to manage everything on your own again. This creates a wave of frustration and confusion. Right when you've gotten super comfortable with her always being there, she pulls back, Now, you miss the ease she brought into your life and might do whatever it takes to get that back. It's like giving a kid candy every day and then suddenly stopping. The kid will do anything for that candy. It's a clever dynamic. By making you dependent, she essentially becomes a part of your routine, even your happiness. If every time you hit a snag in life, she's the one who smooths it out, you'll start seeing her as indispensable. Once dependency is formed, it's a lot easier for her to steer your actions. She suggests something, and you're more likely to agree because you don't want to upset the balance. The balance she's created, mind you. It's like a seesaw where she controls the center point. 1 minute, she's by your side, making everything better. The next, she's distant, and you're working hard to get her back to that sweet spot. This tug-of-war messes with your sense of stability, keeping you slightly off kilter. Suddenly, you're more flexible, more willing to keep the peace, and more open to her suggestions. By positioning herself as your go-to for comfort and ease, she's ensuring you don't want to rock the boat. It's funny how just being helpful can sometimes turn into a sneaky way to control things.